The Battlefront Network, giving you your daily dose of Battlefront content.
Hello everyone and welcome, my name is Tom and you're watching the Battlefront Network today. Thank you for tuning in. So today we are going to be covering the Star Wars Battlefront Collector's Edition Strategy Guide, and the cover art is absolutely beautiful. I literally cannot stop looking at this, it looks gorgeous. So I'm going to be going over this, but I'm not going to be going through every single page and every single word and every single point, because that would of course defeat the purpose if you wanted to get the book for yourself. So I'm going to be going over key points and key areas in the book and then giving my overall rating of the book in general. So here we go. So here we are with the actual strategy guide, as you can see, and I'm going to be taking images, well, close-up images so you can see them in more detail. But here we have the front concept art, or the front cover, and it's actually the same cover art as the deluxe edition of the game, and you can see that on the screen now. So it's exactly the same of the Stormtrooper with his lens piece showing the reflection of the rebels on Sullust firing at them. So essentially this is a Stormtrooper that's looking at some rebels coming towards him, firing at him, and some X-Wings there. It's really nice, really detailed, and I absolutely love this concept art, absolutely beautiful. And on the back we actually have, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but if I try and get it in the reflection, you can see we have a rebel symbol and an Imperial symbol on the back. So they're watermarks, and it looks really cool. Now, when you actually do get the book, it actually comes with a leaflet, which is on the back of the book, essentially. So it comes like this. So at first, I thought that this was the back. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'll take a close-up still so you can see it on the screen. But this is actually the back of it when you actually get the book, and it just tells you what's actually in the collector's edition, and just talks about the different tactics and things and the things you get with the book. And you also get a little folder type thing, leaflet type folder, with some really nice images of the Battlefront locations. So the first one you get is Endor, and you'll be able to see this on the screen with your still that I've taken of it, but it shows an ATST and the lovely Endor environment. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. I love this image, it's just gorgeous, and the detail that DICE has gone to immerse the player in the Star Wars universe in all these different locations, right down to the plants and all the soil and the dirt. It's just beautiful. So that's the first one you get of Endor. And then you get one of a snowspeeder going over the Hoth plains towards some AT-ATs, sorry. So essentially that's going to try and take it down with its tow cable. But it looks gorgeous, and Hoth is a really gorgeous area. Even though it's just a load of snow and it's quite barren, it does look gorgeous, especially on the game. And just the detail they've gone to is just absolutely amazing. And the third image we get is of some Star Destroyers looming over the Sullust plains. It looks amazing yet again. Just really nice, and the nice lava makes it look really quite menacing, really. And with the Star Destroyers there, it just adds to that menacing feel of the Empire. And the final image we get is of an X-Wing going down one of the canyons and a TIE fighter coming straight towards them. So with all these images we've seen before as either wallpaper images that DICE has released, or as trailers that have been released for the game. So they are really nice stills, and you can put them on your wall somewhere, stick them up, or you can just keep them in this little folder you get with it, which is this, with the Star Wars Battlefront logo on the front with EA. Really nice, and again with the Rebel logo and the Imperial logo on the back. So it's really nice to give you these little extras, and it's just, oh, it's beautiful. So on to the strategy guide itself. We open it up to an introduction page with Luke Skywalker force pushing some snowtroopers out of the way, and it looks awesome. And that was a still image released by DICE a few months ago, and it still looks awesome. So got Luke Skywalker doing that. And then we turn the introduction page over, and we just get a welcome to Star Wars Battlefront by Nicholas Fegrius, who is the design director on Star Wars Battlefront. And Carbon Shadow, otherwise known as Johnny, who is on the Battlefront Network channel, actually got to meet Nicholas Fegrius at the Star Wars Celebration event back in April this year. So he's an awesome guy, and the whole DICE team has done a fantastic job on Star Wars Battlefront. So it gives you a little welcome there into the game, and it gives you a little getting started type thing with the game and what you can expect and what all the HUD means on the game and all the different like notifications and things on the game, what they mean, so you can basically when you go into the game you know what everything is. So the book essentially breaks the game down into different sections. Now after you've passed the introduction page and read all about that, you will come to the heroes page. And that talks about all the different individual heroes that you will see and be able to play as in the game. Now, of course, it only talks about the heroes and villains that we have right now in the game. It does not talk about the heroes and villains we'll get later on in the game. For example, the ones we'll receive in the DLC later on this year or next year, unfortunately. But of course, they can't give anything away yet. So it's understandable, but it gives you some nice in-depth information as to what the heroes and villains can do, their abilities, and who's there, like Boba Fett, Han Solo, and of course Emperor Palpatine and Leia Organa. So that's awesome, and it also talks about the non-playable characters. Doesn't give any information about them, unfortunately, because they aren't really playable. Well, they aren't playable at all. But it would be nice if there was some information about them. But we have the pictures of them there, Admiral Akbar, C-3PO and all those. And after you've gone through the book and looked through the different sections such as multiplayer tactics and the introduction and the heroes and just the information about the weapons, you will come to a locations page, as you can see here. And it actually does give you some very in-depth information about the different locations in Star Wars Battlefront. And it gives you a bird's eye view of the different maps, which is absolutely fantastic and is something I always love to see in these types of books, because I did actually buy the Battlefield 3 strategy guide, and it did the same thing, and I just like being able to see the map from a bird's eye point of view and being able to see, you know, where different places are and where I can go and basically plan my attack, if you like, or where I want to go, all my favourite places and stuff like that. And I like the extra information they've actually included about Tatooine and all those lovely things. And it gives you all the different information and the areas where you can go and different stills and images. Just beautiful. The information is really in depth, and it gives you the bird's eye view of each map for each game mode, which is great. So you can see where everything is. So instead of having to spend your time running around the map, basically finding your way around and building a mental image of what the map looks like, you can see it straight away, and so when you're on the map in the game, you'll know where you are because you've seen it from a bird's eye point of view, which is just great. I just love it. And then you will come to the infantry section, where it just talks about all the different types of weapons and gives all the stats for the weapons and all the star cards and all the different hands. It's just really, really in depth, and it just helps you understand which weapon does what and what's the best for you and the different star cards. And so you can basically look at this and choose the ones which would be great for you. So when you rank up in Star Wars Battlefront and get to those different weapons or star cards, and you know, just rank up in general, you'll already have an idea of which star card or which hand set you want to use and which weapon you want to use as your personal weapon throughout the game. So that's really, really good, and you can plan your way throughout the game as you're progressing using this book, which is great. So as you can see there, the different blasters are actually shown. The DLT-19, DH-17, and all those lovely weapons are shown with all their stats there, with some information about them at the bottom, which is really, really good. And you get the rest of the weapons there, which is fantastic. And I'm going to be going over this when I'm playing the game, so I can see which weapon I want to use, all the information about them, which is going to be great. And then we see the star cards. All the different star cards are listed with a picture of them and information about them and all the different stats of them. You have all of them on the different pages here, which is great. And I'm glad they have all this information on here, because I can just see it straight away and it's really clear to see. And you'll also see some information on the vehicles that you can use. It gives you all the different controls that you can actually control the vehicle. So when you go into the game, if you've read this beforehand, or maybe you've forgotten which control does what for the vehicle, then you can just get to the book and have a look at the vehicle section, look at all the different controls and what they do for that vehicle, and you can just basically use it straight away, rather than having to stop mid-game, or you know, just having to spend a lot of time trying to figure out the controls. You can look at all this, memorize it, and be able to, you know, use it quite quickly actually, which is great, because controls are a thing that I always struggle with sometimes, because you know, there's a lot of controls for different games. So when I come from, because I play on PC, so when I come from a keyboard to a controller, sometimes I get confused as to which control does what. So it's really helpful if it tells you what control does what, which is great because it has the Xbox One controls and then the PlayStation 4, which is fantastic. And it also gives you some lovely images of the vehicles, so you can see them in detail, and it gives you some information about those vehicles, which is awesome. And what I like about this book is it gives you an introduction to each section. For example, it gives you an introduction to the vehicle section, gives you an introduction to the infantry section, so you basically have an idea about each of these sections before you go head first into them. And it also gives you information about the different missions you can do and what you need to do for different achievements and how you can unlock things. So you can basically read all that information and then go and do it in the game with the book open next to you, so you can see what you need to do to actually get that unlock or that achievement or whatever you're trying to get, like from the book, because it has like a list of all the things you need to do, which is great. Because sometimes I want to complete something or get an achievement and I'm not really sure what you have to do to get that, so I have to go online and look at all the different things you have to do, and then I've got to memorize that and go onto the game and do it. Whereas I do like to have a list of the book from a book, like set out really nicely next to me, so I can look what I need to do and how to achieve that, which is great. It has some lovely images in there, some really detailed images of the Star Wars universe, basically. And it's just great that EA has partnered with Disney to be able to give us an awesome Star Wars experience. Because, of course, sometimes, you know, these gaming companies, they partner up with a film company or an entertainment company where they make a game based on a film or based on a, you know, like a universe from a film, and they're not able to do as much as they want with it because of the rights and all those types of things, copyrights and whatnot. But since EA is a really big company already and has been able to get all these resources from the Lucasfilm archives and be able to get really good images of these, you know, these props and these things that have been in the Star Wars films, it's great because now we can actually see them in different media, especially in these books. And EA has no limitations really. Well, it does, but it hasn't got as many limitations as maybe Pandemic had when they were making the first Star Wars Battlefront. So we can see all these awesome things, got some nice images and some nice merchandise, and it looks beautiful, and I can't wait to be using this throughout the game. And I hope they do make some kind of DLC type guide for the game when all the DLCs are out, because that would be great. But this guide is really nice, and if I was to give it a rating, I'd say out of 10, I'd say it's maybe about a 7, an 8, because Prima Guide is always good, and they make some really nice guides for games, and they're really detailed and just have some awesome things in there. So I do recommend, if you want some extra detail or some extra information and tactics about how to play Star Wars Battlefront and how to achieve certain things, or maybe just have it as like a collector's edition type item, which is really why I bought it, because I love Star Wars Battlefront, and it was one of my first games I fell in love with. Well, it's the only game I played as a child, really, because I loved it that much. When I heard about the collector's edition strategy guide they were releasing, I really wanted to get it as like a fan item, really, because it looks awesome and it's just really helpful as well with all the information they provide in there. So if you want a collector's item or just as a help to get you that bit further in Star Wars Battlefront and some extra information on weapons, vehicles and turrets and all the different missions you can do and the heroes, I strongly recommend to get this edition. Now this isn't the only edition of the book. You can get the regular edition, but this nice edition has the nice lovely cover art on there, so you can't really go wrong with that awesomeness looking at you every single time. So thanks for watching. I've left a link in the description below where you can purchase the book from Amazon if you want to. Of course, it's entirely up to you, because you can play the game and find it all out for yourself. That's all part of the fun. But thanks for watching. My name's Tom, and I'll see you on the Battlefront.